Today I'm going to show you the top 10 bicep peak exercises for massive gains. Alright, my name is Brent Kasmer and I've been doing this for a long time now, and I've been working with thousands of people helping them get great results. So what I want to show, what I want to break through to you is these are the best ones, okay? If you want to get that nice rounded peak on your bicep. So we're going to start off with a barbell, seated barbell curl. So when you do this, you want to pick the bar up. You want your hands about the distance of your knees apart, so right about your hips. You want to keep your back nice and tall. You want to keep your elbows in front of you, so you don't want your elbows back here behind you, okay? So you're keeping your elbows up in front of you, and you're just curling this up towards your shoulders. And this is an exercise you can put some serious weight on just because of the fact that it's half the range of motion, and you're just peaking your biceps out. Good squeeze, good control on the way down. You'll feel this in your core big time too. So squeezing it up, bam. So that's your seated barbell curl. The next one I'm going to take you to is an incline bench, except this, instead of laying on the incline bench this way, we're going to lay with our chest against the top of the incline. And this is a hammer curl, so incline hammer curl, but what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the dumbbells together. So you're putting your sternum up on the bench, squeezing the dumbbells together, and half the motion is literally squeezing them together. That's what's going to help peak those out also. So you're forcing them together and curling them up. So down. Also great for peeking those arms out. Alright, so that's your incline hammer curl. I'm going to take you here to the preacher curl. And first, if you notice, we have a flat side and we also have the incline side. Now the flat side is great because it's almost like a concentration curl. Now, a lot of times people are like, well, shoot, I don't have that exact bench, you know? So here's the thing. You would just take a bench, flatten it out, and look, now you just have to do it with a single arm. So the big thing that you want to do is make sure that your tricep is driven into that pad opposed to your elbow where you can help the leverage. So you want to make sure that tricep is, so that way it can't help you. It's not going to help you. And another big key thing that people do, they mess up with, is they let their wrist rock in the curl, which takes away from the bicep motion. So a lot of times people's forearms will fatigue faster than the bicep itself. So you want to make sure that you're keeping that wrist locked straight and you're letting the lever of your forearm just curling it straight up, contracting your bicep. So back to this pad. You're keeping your elbows in, grabbing an in close grip. A lot of the stuffs for the peak also are in close. Your wrists are rolled out almost. So that way you're engaging the peak and the outer part of your bicep. Okay? So there's actually two ways to do this. So you're in close like this, curling it up. See how contracted that is? Curling it straight up like that. And the best part about it being straight up and down, unlike the regular preacher side, is the fact that you don't get the rest at the top once you get that bar up there, which is going to take me into my next exercise. So one way to do it, the inner grip here, or even a barbell, helps you to make your wrist a little straighter. Just depends on if you have any wrist injuries. So just keeping it in tight and curling it up like that. Another way to do it, which no one really ever holds the easy curl bar this way, it's not really taught, but it forces the angle of the wrist. So instead of grabbing it like you normally would, you would grab it with the curl out and curling it up like so. So I'll demonstrate one time with that as well. So it's here with your wrists curled out and peeking it up. Good control and peeking it up. Okay. So that is It's kind of like a concentration curl, but preacher curl. Another great way to do this. You know, I was saying how the top of the motion on the preacher curl is hard because of the fact that, you know, it would be a great way to lock in that bicep, that peak. But when you're using dumbbells or barbells or free weight, that's a resting spot also. So what you would do is roll this in front of a cable machine. Okay? So you'll roll this in front of a cable machine. And what happened is someone stole my clip. It's okay though. I won't freak out on camera. All right. So, hooking that on. What I'm going to do is pull this back. But what happens is when you have it on a cable, there's no resting spot. So when you get it into that peak and you're squeezing at the top, the cable's still pulling it forward. So there's no rest. You're actually getting a great contraction on the peak of that bicep, getting that massive growth. And you're like, well, Brent, I don't have a preacher curl machine I can just roll around anywhere to get that motion. So I'm always creating stuff to help people figure this out. So what we want to do is just take an incline bench, like so. And most people have a cable machine. So what you'll do is now you've just created a preacher curl in front of a cable using the incline bench. So same thing. See that contraction? And the biggest thing with when you're trying to peek out your arm is keeping your pinky rolled out a little bit more than you normally would. So it's here, rolling it out. And the biggest thing too, you don't want to roll your elbow inward, okay? So you want to make sure you keep your elbow nice and straight. Keep that pinky rolled out and just peek up your bicep and squeezing it. So that's how you would make a regular preacher curl, peek out your arm for massive gains. Okay, so the next one that a lot of people are very familiar with is a concentration curl. So concentration curl, what people mostly do wrong is they'll put their elbow in their bicep. I mean their elbow in their leg. So, and it's going to help them to, you know, aid them in the motion up into their curl. Or if you put your, just like I was showing you on that pad there, if you're using your tricep, you're not adding any extra pressure into that elbow, helping it, you know, your arm to do the work. So you want that tricep right there in the inner thigh, and you're just curling it up like so. So curling it, that way your concentration curl is a great exercise for getting that peak in your bicep also. So squeezing it up there, curling it, squeezing it up there, curling it. You know, and when you're trying to get massive gains also, you want to make sure that the weight is right. You're always wanting to measure what you're doing, making sure, like, you know, obviously you're not picking up the same weights over and over and over again. You're always logging it, measuring it, and knowing your progression. So you always want to make sure that, you know, if you got 8 and you're supposed to get 8, and you got an 8 every time, it's time to increase the weight. So you have your concentration curl. We also have that's a dumbbell concentration curl. We also have the cable concentration curl as well. So all you would do is take the cable to the highest point, and you want to make sure your elbow is level with your shoulder or a little bit higher. So when you're doing a cable concentration curl, you don't want it down here. You want it up high. And to help with the peak, you want to curl it towards the back of your head. So I'll show you from this angle as well. So when you're curling it towards the back of your head. Biceps nice and peaked out. and it's good control out. So there's your cable concentration curl. So it's nice and smooth, keeping your wrist nice and straight. To get it nice and straight, you just squeeze the handle, the grip, whatever you're using at the time. Okay? So now we've had preacher curls, we've had the flat-sided preacher curl, the seated barbell curl, the hammer incline curl, the cable concentration curl, cable incline curls. Now I want to show you also a lying on the floor cable curl. So we're right here. I had the ropes that you would normally use for triceps on the grip. You can use a barbell also. Same thing as long as you're holding it in a narrow grip. But we're laying on the floor and you want your head right underneath the cable. So for this exercise, you're here, arms are straight up, and you're curling right past your ears. Because it's all about that squeeze. And if you notice, this is the same angle as if you were using the flat side of a bench, or the flat side of the preacher curl, or even when you're laying with your chest up against that incline, creating the same exact motion by having your your arms nice and straight and curling them out. See how I'm flipping those wrists? So the biggest thing, like I've shared now, are rolling those pinkies. So you want to make sure you're rolling those pinkies out, because that last little flick is what helps that peak of your bicep to get that shape. All right, so flipping that pinky out is huge. And then the last one, same premise, is when we're doing dumbbells, is peaking these exercises right out. So if you're standing, curling, you want to make sure you're here, and the last motion, you flick. So that's what's going to help flick that to the top of the bicep when you get in there. See how you keep your elbows from like tucking behind you? A lot of people when they're at the gym, they got this little elbows way back beside them and their motion's really limited. You want to make sure you keep that motion nice and right and point those pinkies out and locking it right into the top peak of that bicep. All right, so those are our top 10 exercises for bicep for that peak massive gain. All right, my name is Brent Kasmer. I've been doing this a long time. Hopefully you find a lot of this information helpful. I look forward to hearing you guys' gains. So, make sure you comment below, and see you in the next video.